Today we're going to take a look at the Sound Devices 552 mixer. It's a pretty high-end product, got a lot of great features, and you may be wondering why on earth should you go out and buy such an expensive mixer? Well, today let's take a detailed look why. The 552 mixer and recorder is just an absolutely amazing product. It's got a lot of features, in fact, more than I can get into in just a few minutes, but we're going to try and give you the crash course on what makes this mixer and recorder great. First, let's take a look at the inputs. It's got 5 inputs, super high quality preamps, transformer isolated. Each individual input has an output. This means that you can do ISO feeds or record into a separate recorder. You can also send audio into close-up cameras in a multicam shoot. It's a really versatile and important feature to have. These outputs can be either pre or post fader. The preamps are super clean. They have 102 dB of dynamic range. The gain in this mixer is just absolutely super clean. If you need to crank it up when somebody gets quiet, you're not going to hear noise from these preamps coming up. The inputs also feature a variable low-cut filter. It goes from about 80 Hz up to 240. This allows you to adjust the cutoff, or the roll-off rather, for different types of shooting situations, male or female voice, and whether you've got a lot of rumble to deal with. Another cool feature about the inputs is that you can solo them to the headphones using the PFL function. Additionally, you can also mute inputs. The inputs also support phantom powering at 12 or 48 volts and phase inversion on 2 channels. You can also join 2 inputs together for MS sound stereo recording support. 2 inputs also feature phase reversal. One more cool feature about the inputs is that you can flip them between mic level and line level on the front panel with just a flip of a switch. The build quality on this product is simply amazing. It's metallized carbon fiber. I love carbon fiber. It's just absolutely sexy. It makes this thing super strong and shaved off over a pound of weight compared to the original 442 mixer. The output metering is pretty amazing. Bright LEDs, and you can actually adjust their brightness from dim interiors to being visible in the bright sunshine outside. Headphone monitoring allows you to adjust the volume, stereo, left, right, or mono summed. You can also have the option of listening to 2 different returns, A and B. So this mixer very cleanly and easily supports multiple camera shoots. So let's talk about output options on this mixer. It has 3 full sets, XLRs, TA3s, and a 10-pin Hirose. Now let's talk about what might be the most interesting part of this mixer, the recorder. Now, whoever thought of sticking a recorder in a mixer? Brilliant idea. It's a 2-track recorder, and it supports a variety of sample rates from MP3 at several different bit rates, as well as several uncompressed flavors. It records a stereo broadcast wave file. Something that also makes me really happy about this as a recorder is that it has timecode support. You can feed timecode into it from a camera or a master generator. If the camera is in record run, meaning it only sends timecode when it's actually recording, you can set this up so that it too only goes into record when it's actively seeing timecode coming in. This means you no longer have to worry about hitting the record button on the recorder. The recorder itself is actually operated by a little joystick on the front panel. Play, record, stop, and of course you can play. One of the options when playing is that you can actually send the recorded sound back out to the XLRs if you need to do that for certain monitoring situations. By default, it's actually turned off. Something that people may not necessarily be aware of is that this mixer recorder is actually a computer. It's got a menu system that allows you to configure a variety of different options with it. What's different about this mixer, though, is that it actually has a voice that you'll hear only in the headphones, so you don't need to pull a manual out to set different things. Let's take a listen.
Output limiter threshold 11 dBu, 12 dBu, 13 dBu.
While it might seem a little difficult to first understand what the menu is telling you, you do get the hang of it after a while, and it's a huge help because you no longer have to carry the manual or a cheat sheet to configure different things. Another feature about this mixer that isn't immediately obvious is that it supports AES digital audio on output, 2 channels, A and B. So in net effect, this actually gives you 4 channels of discrete output, depending on how you set the inputs up and how you route them. This mixer has 2 powering options, internal or external. Internal, it'll run on 4 AA batteries for 6 or 7 hours, depending on the battery type, phantom power, and whatever else you're doing, like recording or not. It also accepts a wide range of external power from 12 to about 24 volts on the external power connector. In reality, my custom battery that I have made of about 10 AAs runs this thing for about 2 days. So when shooting dual system sound with, for example, a DSLR, you want to know whether your recorder is actually going to keep and match time with your video device. Hands down, this is probably one of the most stable recorders I've ever seen. So really, the Sound Devices 552 is pretty much perfection except for one really stupid, goofy thing. The media, an SD card for recording, is on the bottom of the unit. I just can't say what were they thinking of when they did this, because unless you get a specialized bag with a hole in the bottom, you have to sit there and play around and mess around to get the card in and out. So this mixer recorder is incredibly configurable to just about any crazy situation that you're going to run into in the field. Of course, the other part of it is it sounds absolutely amazing. You know, what's the point of investing in a really expensive mic if you kill half the sound of that mic in your mixer? And that's where you start to see the differences between the cheap mixers and a top-of-the-line unit like this. Suddenly, your sound has crisp detail that you've probably never heard before. So as a working professional, I think the purchase of one of these mixers is really kind of a no-brainer. If you don't need to step up into the 664, this is probably your best bet.